We have Donald Trump Jr., who was in court again this morning. There he is. You hear the protesters chanting, crime family, and that is basically what these people are, a crime family, a very dumb crime family, the Gambozos, if you will, and...
I'm not supposed to rely on a big five accounting firm, like one of the biggest accounting firms in the world. I can pay them millions of dollars. I rely on them to do accounting, but I'm supposed to know more than them. By this logic, insurance companies are going to start suing patients for listening to their doctors. Right? Do you understand? Like, am I supposed to know more? Oh, Don Jr. doesn't know anything about it. I'm not an accountant. I'm a business guy.
I'm a business guy who had his elbows soldered together, and now I move my arms like a Muppet all the time.
What if one explosive courtroom moment revealed the fragile pride of an entire political dynasty? What if a single late-night joke carried enough weight to rattle Trump's closest circle, beginning with his own son on the witness stand? Jimmy Kimmel didn't simply roast Trump, he set off a ticking time bomb. From AI deepfakes to Disney suddenly being dragged into the chaos, this scandal spun so wildly out of control that even Trump's own team couldn't twist the story in their favor. The line between humor and disaster completely vanished, and what happened next was nothing short of a total image collapse. By the time the final punchline hit, it became clear why Trump completely lost his composure. And just when it seemed the Trump dynasty couldn't face anything more awkward, in came Don Jr., flushed, jittery, and somehow acting like he was the lead in a courtroom reality show. His testimony didn't protect his father, it nearly roasted him instead. Between nervous chuckles, vacant stares, and strained attempts at sounding intelligent, Don Jr. handed late-night hosts a week's worth of material in just minutes. This wasn't simply a meltdown, it was a full-on masterclass in public self-destruction.
Don Jr., he's so embarrassing. He's on the stand, he's testifying in this $250 million fraud trial, and he has to compliment. He said his father is an artist with real estate. Yeah, he's an artist he's Vincent Van Gogh to jail with real estate. Is what he is. He also boasted that his dad is the father of hotel gyms. He said, maybe someone put a gym in a building somewhere, but no one did it at the scale of my father. He's saying that his father, the father of the hotel gym, is a guy who's never stepped inside one, okay? The amount of ass kissing in this trial is insane. DJ TJ, of course, denies any and all wrongdoing and is instead going with the "our accountants did it" defense.
Trump's empire didn't collapse inside a courtroom, it unraveled on TikTok. The now infamous Taco Man remix spun wildly out of control. From endless remix clips to AI-generated roosters proudly wearing MAGA hats, the meme evolved into a full-blown movement. But it wasn't just online pranksters stoking the chaos. Behind the scenes, Wall Street insiders began whispering a nickname that poured fuel on the fire. Taco, short for Trump always chickens out, a sharp jab aimed at questioning his courage. The acronym spread like wildfire across social media, feeding the frenzy. Then came the moment everything exploded. At a press event, a reporter boldly asked Trump about his new label. Instead of dismissing it with humor, he lost his composure, snapping that it was a nasty question. That instant was captured on camera, preserved forever, and replayed endlessly. For a man deeply invested in protecting his image, it became a slow-motion takedown by pure ridicule. Trump had hoped the noise would fade into silence. Instead, he ended up with a disco anthem and an entire nation laughing at his expense.
What have they been asking the kids, and tell me how they fit into all of this?
They don't fit into all of this. What have they been asking the kids? It's very simple. They'll ask the kids, did you give a value to somebody? Did you do something? And everybody said resoundingly no. And these kids did nothing wrong. They should not be in this case. Ivanka's already out of the case. The boys should not be in the case.
That's right. They're just boys. They're kids. Eric has a book report due this weekend. They're both still wearing pull-ups. They're on trial? I mean, come on. Don and Don Jr. had some father and son event this weekend. They went to the UFC fight at Madison Square Garden. There they are. Trump's being cheered on, but he's got Dana White there. He's got Tucker Carlson in the back. He's got Kid Rock in tow. And of course, oh yeah, there we go, little fist bump. Don Jr. was thrilled to be a part of the group. He posted this picture of him and Tuck cackling in their blue checker print shirts. A couple of banana Republicans right there. And
What pushed him over the edge was AI. The digital age showed no mercy. In less than 24 hours, Trump's public image had been completely reimagined by artificial intelligence. Full chicken armor, lettuce wraps, and deepfake voiceovers cast him as a bizarre fast food dictator. Taco Man had grown far beyond a meme. It had become a full-blown cultural revolt. And as Trump scrolled furiously through an endless stream of rage-filled tweets, the real blow landed. A Rolling Stone report revealed that his White House had made not one but two separate phone calls to Disney, demanding they rein in Jimmy Kimmel. That's right, while holding the nuclear codes, Trump was allegedly trying to shut down late-night jokes. The President of the United States had literally told his staff, "I'll call Mickey Mouse, I'm being bullied." You couldn't script something this absurd. But Jimmy wasn't intimidated. If anything, he went even harder. And the timing for Trump could not have been more brutal.
a busy time for Mike Lindell, no doubt, but even busier for our embattled former president, who I guess in an attempt to mend the wall between himself and the Latino community, sat down on his balls for an interview with Univision, where he was taken to task on a number of subjects by one of the toughest journalists in any language. Do you see where this is going? Oh, let's find out.
Buenas noches, and welcome to the Univision interview of Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, first question. Stormy Daniels say you have a chalupa that is very small. ¿Es verdad?
I do.
Me too. It's okay. Okay, next question. What would happen if you stopped eating at McDonald's?
They would be out of business. They'd be out.
Because you eat so much.
I do.
Me too. What about Melania? How would you describe your marriage?
It's a hoax.
Yeah, that seems right. I have to say, you look very orange today, sir. Some people say you look like an Oompa Loompa. What do you think of the Oompa Loompas?
They're energetic people. They have more energy. They're very smart. They're incredible people. They're passionate people. You know, it's always tough to generalize about people, but you can. You know, some people would say, oh, that's not good. It's not politically correct.
You're probably right. It is time to stop being so PC about Oompa Loompas. Great point, sir. Oh, I have another question for you. Can you tell me who's this?
That's Silence of the Lamb. That's Hannibal Lecter.
Do you know him?
He's a friend of mine. He's a tremendous man. He's been very loyal to me. I've been very loyal to him.
Next question. Who are these guys?
These are people that are very, very disturbed, very, very mentally ill.
Yes, they seem very bad and very ugly too. Anyway, thank you for inviting me to your very weird house. Before I go, I have a surprise. It is my honor to announce you have been named Mexico's 2023 Pendejo of the Year. You look great, sir. Like a real pendejo.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome. That was my exclusivo interview with El Pendejo número uno, Donald Trump. Back to you in the studio, Tony.
Great. Very great. Great work, Guillermo.
Because just when Trump believed he could end the joke ended his image instead. Jimmy Kimmel didn't just weather Trump's outrage, he turned it into a headline that dominated the front page. President Karen demands to speak to my manager, he quipped, and America erupted with laughter. Here was a man who had once wielded the Department of Justice like a weapon, now complaining to Disney as if leaving a bad Yelp review. It was political theater at its most awkward and humiliating. Yet behind the punchlines was a serious warning. This was a man who simply could not tolerate criticism. And when someone with unchecked authority lashes out over a late-night monologue, what else might provoke an even more dangerous overreaction? A comment from a foreign leader? A Supreme Court decision? A delicate moment in nuclear diplomacy? The truly unsettling part wasn't the joke itself. It was the tantrum. And Trump's tantrum, it seemed, was only just beginning.
How weak and pathetic is a guy like that? The Tonight Show, which is dying. They're all dying. Where's Johnny Carson? Bring back Johnny. It made you appreciate, right, Uncle Sam? It made you appreciate the greatness of Johnny Carson. I go on his show, and he goes, "Is that your real hair?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you mind if I mess it up?" So he grabs it, and he starts really going crazy, right? And everybody laughed, and it was a big thing, and it was a big hit. It was all over the place, and he got great ratings and all. And 6 months later, he went out because he was under pressure to apologize because he humanized Donald Trump. Do you remember? And he stood up and he said, "I'd like to apologize. 6 months ago, or whatever it was, I messed up Donald Trump's hair and it humanized him and he became president. And I would like to apologize." How weak and pathetic is a guy like that? And his show died, but the other two shows are dying.
As Jimmy's jokes chipped away at MAGA morale, Trump's frustration began spilling into the political arena. While he stewed over the Taco Man saga, the Supreme Court reignited a national firestorm. Conservative justices openly questioned whether bans on AR-15 rifles were even constitutional, essentially paving the way for more gun-related chaos. Justice Thomas went so far as to caution against delaying the legalization of America's most popular assault weapon. And while that political bombshell rattled the country, Trump remained fixated on his feud with a late-night comedian. As rulings with life-and-death consequences unfolded, he was busy rage-posting about feeling bullied. Think about that. A former president once trusted with the nuclear codes, now visibly shaken by parodies and puppets. And the more troubling question lingered. If a harmless nickname like Taco can send him spiraling into a meltdown, what happens when global leaders openly challenge him? We've seen it before, and history shows it never ends well.
President Trump flew to Rome to pay his respects and also to see if he could get a deal on the Pope-mobile to drive around his golf course. For whatever reason, even though the Vatican dress code specifically recommended a dark suit for the service, Trump showed up in his bluest blue suit. Something from the Cedric the Entertainer funeral collection. You know, Fox News, you may remember, had a collective aneurysm when President Obama wore a tan suit to a press briefing. Man, oh man, if Obama wore in a blue suit to the Pope's funeral, Sean Hannity's head would explode inside Trump's ass. The fact that he was the only person not wearing a dark suit did not go unnoticed. So the White House press secretary pushed back. She said the president looked great and presidential alongside our stunning first lady, who was, as usual, dressed perfectly for the occasion. And she's right about Melania. I don't know about stunning, but she definitely looks stunned. Show them together, because this is the happiest I've ever seen these two together. It's like they're on their second honeymoon or something.
Meanwhile, another battlefield was heating up: global trade. While Trump fired off retaliatory tweets for the sake of showmanship, he quietly doubled tariffs on aluminum and steel. The impact was immediate. American manufacturers scrambled, costs soared, and factories shifted their operations to China. Yes, China. Major automakers like Toyota, Nissan, and Volkswagen, companies Trump once promised to keep on U.S. soil, expanded their production lines in Beijing instead. They began building cars for nearly every market in the world except one, and you can guess which country was left out. In short, the self-proclaimed America First president had unintentionally engineered one of the most America-last supply chains of the decade. And the worst part? These moves weren't part of any calculated economic strategy. They were driven by emotion. While TikTok was busy dancing to the Taco Man remix and Twitter was in hysterics over President Karen, the global market was quietly slipping away from U.S. hands. One man's ego had morphed into a geopolitical liability, and the consequences are now landing on us all.
On this one, he's claiming that paying women to be quiet is not a crime. It's basically a parking ticket.
It's not a crime. We're here for something that is not a crime. Literally, legal experts, legal scholars said they don't understand it. There's no crime. And there was no crime here at all. Virtually every legal scholar says they don't understand it. There's no crime. Even if he was guilty of something, there's no crime.
Even if he was guilty of a crime, for instance, there's no crime. Your Honor, if there's anything I'm guilty of, it's loving too much. And then tomorrow in New York, the judge is expected to rule in the $370 million civil fraud case against Trump. Let me tell you something. He has to pay $370 million. We're about to see an explosion unlike any we've ever witnessed before. I would love to be a fly dodging ketchup bottles on the wall for that moment. I really would. I cannot.
The chaos didn't end with trade or courtroom drama. It began eroding public trust. Trump's fixation on controlling the narrative became more transparent than ever. Rolling Stone confirmed that when Jimmy's jokes cut too deep, Trump didn't counter with evidence or policy. He reached for the phone and called for censorship, not once, but twice. This wasn't just a passive-aggressive tweet. These were coordinated White House calls demanding that Disney silence its late-night comedian. Let that sink in. A sitting president using the weight of his office to suppress satire. And for a brief moment, it worked, until Jimmy flipped the entire situation into ammunition. Usually when Trump wants someone to stop talking about him, Jimmy joked, he pays them $130,000. He wanted me to do it for free. With a single punchline, Kimmel dismantled Trump's image, mocked his scandals, and reminded the nation exactly who ends up silenced when power is abused.
And then the president either went deep in prayer or deep asleep. I don't know. You know, our former president, Joe Biden, was there too, and he was chatting people up like he was a greeter at Walmart. He was all over everything. Trump and Biden did not cross paths at the funeral. Trump did not give Biden a ride on Air Force One, as is tradition. When presidents attend the same event, they often travel together, not these two. Biden was like, you know what, I'll get on a Spirit Airlines over there. And this is interesting. Biden wore his trademark aviator sunglasses to the service, but it got me thinking, I've never seen Donald Trump wear sunglasses. It was a very sunny day. Lots of people you could see had sunglasses on, not Trump. In fact, if you Google Trump wearing sunglasses, you get thousands of pictures of him not wearing sunglasses, except the only pictures of him wearing anything even like them are shots of him during the solar eclipse. The glasses he then famously took off so he could stare directly into the sun. Weird though, right? I mean, he golfs a lot. He's outside a lot. I wonder why he doesn't wear sunglasses. Because it's Biden's thing, or did he wear them once as a kid and his dad said, you look stupid, like his sons, Eric and Don Jr.? I don't know the answer. It's the only thing I don't know about this person. I think he would look good in sunglasses. Get him a pair like Elton John's. Maybe it'd turn everything around. Shortly before the funeral, Trump took a moment to meet with President Zelensky of Ukraine. They had a private meeting in the least private spot imaginable. This reminds me of I don't know if you remember a very similar meeting that took place long ago in a galaxy far, far away. This was the first time Zelensky and Jabba the Pizza Hut have met since the setup in the Oval Office back in February. This time they both violated the dress code.
The irony couldn't be sharper. Trump tried to erase the joke but ended up making it even bigger. While he ranted about ratings and dismissed Kimmel as untalented, millions tuned in just to watch the latest round of roasting. Every outburst, every tweet, every fresh nickname only poured gasoline on the fire. The louder Trump cried foul, the harder the internet laughed. He wasn't just the target, he became the punchline of his own presidency. And if that doesn't unsettle you, it should. Because behind every laugh was a warning. This is a man who can't take a joke, let alone a challenge. When mocked, he doesn't just get angry, he becomes dangerous. Give someone like that unchecked power and the comedy fades fast. What starts as satire can end in subpoenas. What begins with laughter often concludes in courtrooms and chaos. And here's where it turns chilling. Trump's inability to handle humor doesn't just embarrass him, it exposes something rotten in how he sees authority. To him, jokes are betrayal, criticism is sabotage, and parody is treason. If he can't silence you through influence, he'll try intimidation. Jimmy Kimmel didn't just get under Trump's skin, he moved in and furnished the place. But imagine if it hadn't been a celebrity. Imagine it was a journalist, a teacher, a protester. Would the calls have stopped at Disney, or would they have gone further? We've already seen the answer on January 6th. The truth is, this story isn't about late-night comedy. It's about how fragile democracy becomes when its leaders see dissent as an attack. And that's not just petty, it's a crisis unfolding in real time.
Tony Soprano was in Charleston, South Carolina last night, where he took some time to boast about his golf game and complain about chubby photos.
Did you see the picture of me, the horrible picture with the stomach out to here? That was... So what I do is I'm putting up today a picture of me actually, what I actually look like, hitting a ball, smashing the frickin' ball. And you'll see quite, I wouldn't say slim, but not bad. But the ball does go far. I would say it goes about 9 times further than Biden can hit it 9 times.
Right. Well, you know, and in that case, you got my vote if you can hit a ball 9 times further. And what picture is he even talking about? This is one of those things where he's pissed off about something nobody else even knows about. So then we look it up and we know about, but I still don't know which picture it is. I mean, is it this picture of him? Is it this one? Is it this one? I don't know. There are so many. I don't know which fatty shack I'm not supposed to look at. And by the way, that not bad picture of him smashing a ball he said he was going to post, he never posted it. Somehow he wasn't able to locate that one.
As the Taco Man saga spiraled further out of control, Trump's psychological unraveling became the real headline. He wasn't simply reacting, he was deteriorating in real time. Each new Jimmy Kimmel punchline didn't just poke at his ego, it exposed his deepest insecurities. And the harder he tried to bury the joke, the deeper it buried him. While world leaders tackled real crises, Trump was busy reposting stale memes and reportedly Googling Ivanka in a bikini. He wasn't leading, he was spiraling. Even some of his staunchest allies began backing away, quietly whispering that the emperor had no clothes, only internet punchlines. The most unsettling part? He still believes he can win again. He's not just haunted by parody, he's defined by it. Once your name becomes a national punchline, the damage isn't just political, it's permanent. Even Trump's attempts to fire back collapsed into self-inflicted embarrassment. On Truth Social, he called Jimmy washed up and unfunny, but the post itself read like a plea for help. I guess he hits me all the time, so I figured I'd hit him. That's not strategy, it's insecurity with a megaphone. And while Trump sulked online, Jimmy stayed silent, smiling knowingly. Sometimes silence lands harder than a scream. The former president, once feared and revered, had become background noise in his own downfall. Every insult ricocheted, every clapback fizzled. It wasn't Jimmy who lost control, it was Trump. And as that truth settled in, America witnessed exactly what happens when the most powerful man in the world becomes the butt of every joke and can't take it. But the real twist wasn't the punchline, it was the collateral damage caused by his rage. In trying to silence a joke, Trump exposed every fracture in his character. Fragile, volatile, paranoid. He didn't just prove Jimmy's point, he magnified it. What began as a single insult became a national mirror, reflecting how fast power turns petty, how quickly a leader becomes a liability, how easily diplomacy gets traded for ego. And while the internet roared with laughter, the costs mounted. Factories closed, courts fractured, allies drifted, all because one man couldn't handle being mocked. The bigger irony? Trump's obsession with appearing tough may go down as the most cowardly legacy in presidential history. Nothing screams weakness louder than trying to cancel a comedian. By now, the pattern is undeniable. Late-night satire? He tried to censor it. Global trade backlash? He blamed the press. Losing in court? He outlashed at judges. This isn't strategy, it's a symptom of a leader who mistook dominance for leadership and silence for loyalty. But America isn't built on obedience. It's built on scrutiny, resistance, and the right to openly ridicule those in power. That's why satire matters, because when truth gets punished, humor becomes the last line of protest.